Live streaming of SDR news coverage at HP Discover has been made possible by Intel Corporation. Check out Intel OpenPort IT, where you can connect with your peers at Intel on industry topics, best practices, strategies, and more. And by Microsoft, where HP and Microsoft are working together, combining their respective strengths to deliver innovative technologies to help advance your business.
Hey, welcome back to our coverage here at HP Discover. I'm Andy McCaskey from SDR News, and we welcome back a frequent guest here, Yanick Pouffary. So good to see you again.
So good to see you indeed.
We're going to be talking about one of the main themes that we have here at HP Discover of agility.
Yes.
And some of the technology that's behind the agility.
Right. So thank you, Andy, for having me again on your channel. So we're going to talk about network agility. Of course, agility is required across the IT ecosystem, but for today, our conversation is around
switch the audio?
Network agility, right? So today's networks are very rigid. They are very often over-provisioned. And what do we mean by this? We mean that every time IT needs to deliver connectivity for the business, you'll end up provisioning a network again. You end up delivering what you think the network needs to deliver for the business. So there is what we find a very strong lack of misunderstanding between what the business needs and what the network is able to deliver. So the simple answer is you just over-provision so that you can get ahead of the technology curve. But what we find is that the network IT, or the network operators, are always running. They're always behind. They are, what I said in my recent blogs, they are the slowest kid around the block. It's time consuming to provision, it's very often error prone, and it's very difficult for the network to understand and comprehend exactly what's required of it.
So there are multiple things that make this hard. There's not one single issue.
That's right, that's right.
It's the sum of all of them.
That's correct. So we've been living in a world where things were pre-configured, and they are very often configured through CLI, so they manually touch. We also need to touch every network element in the network chain to actually affect and have new configuration. So basically, it's human-centric. The human has to touch all of them. It's CLI-centric, so you've got to command line touch each one of them, and you've got to affect change across the board. And also, because there is a lack of understanding between the application and the network is very often guessing what's going on. So we are today at a point where this model just cannot sustain. If we want to become agile, something has to change on the networking side to actually bring the network on par with what we've seen around the server space and the storage space.
Right.
So we are really at a turning point today. And to be honest, for us that are listening to us, is that up to now, technology just wasn't there to deliver that flexibility we all want.
Well, I know that for many years you've been such a passionate advocate of the technologies that are necessary to correct this, specifically IPv6.
That's right.
And have things changed, say, in the past year, past 6 months?
Yes.
What's changed?
Okay, so what has changed is multiple things. We've recognized that we need to virtualize. So we need to enable innovation to occur both at the network control plane level and innovation that needs to occur at the data plane. So we need a decoupling between the software elements, the software that are driving the network, as well as innovation at the hardware layer. So we need that decoupling. We also need to have a single view of the network, not just an element by element view. So what has happened in the past year and a half, 2 years, is really the realization that we needed to treat the network in a different way. And that decoupling is quite fundamental. And I'm going to use an example that we all know about, which is when we all travel. A lot of my readers are really frequent traveler. And if you follow the normal travel flow, you'll end up having bottleneck. You'll end up being with everyone through that network path. And sometimes it's congested, sometimes it's not congested. And of course, I'm talking about the airline industry. There is a routing protocol that routes all these planes across, irrelevant of the number of passengers that are going through that. But if you are a frequent flyer, you want to be treated according to your business needs, right? So you'd like to be treated as a VIP. Up to now, the network has not been able to deliver that VIP treatment, that software-defined treatment that would allow you per application, per set of user to define how you want to be treated by the network. And that is called really software-defined networking. What that is saying, through a control point, I want the network to be mapped, to be controlled according to this application need. So the industry has realized, instead of having the traditional routing protocols that really goes, the routing protocol is a distributed protocol, so you distribute the information through each endpoint, right? Each endpoint has their own visibility of the network. Really, what end up doing is, as you traversing it, decision is made at the local point based on the local vision that you have on the network. It really is, no one does have like a stepping back and having a global view of the network so that it can deliver this differentiated capacity. So really, software-defined networking is really about decoupling the control from the data plane. It's an abstraction, and as I said, abstraction delivers something quite fundamental to the industry. It enables to have innovation occur at every layer of the abstraction.
But I see there's such an installed base of equipment that's there.
That's
a lot of it with proprietary control, command line types of control systems.
Right.
How long is it going to take to evolve, and what's going to be the driver behind that?
Okay, so these are absolutely fundamental questions, and we recognize that a lot of our customers are going to say, I have an as is. Now, some of them could say, where have you been, right? I've been buying equipment. How do I move out of this over-provisioned, rigid environment into where you're telling me I'm going to be able to have a VIP treatment of my application data or my particular application? You need to undertake a journey. It is all about, saying, okay, I need the hardware, I need the software to be able to implement this architecture. So minimum that I say to my customers is that if you believe you need that agility, if you believe you need that just-in-time IT for the network, that is to say you believe that you'll be able to have the capacity your business needs when you need it, if you think that's an end goal, in order to get to that point, you need to buy equipment that enables you to deliver that architecture. So buying equipment is absolutely the right equipment. You need to then undertake an understanding of your business so that you look at, where should I start? Maybe I want to start in a branch. Maybe I want to start in my data center. Which application do I want to start this with, right? Because success drives success. So instead of boiling the ocean, what we tell our customers, look and find where it makes sense for your business and then deploy it there. And then once you've done this and you've proven to yourself, to your business partners, to your application partners, that you can deliver a better network that can scale up and down when you need to, then you go and move to the next phase. So really what I'm saying is not a wholesale upgrade. I'm saying it's a transformation.
So the transformation, the beginning of a journey.
Exactly.
Where's the best place for people to learn more about the beginning of this journey?
Oh, right. So I'm from Technology Services, and we have a methodology that really is not a prescriptive methodology. It's a methodology that helps you go through the plethora of technical options you have and then select the one that makes sense for your business as well as your IT environment, because we have a very pragmatic approach. We have a lot of IT experience, so we marry pragmatism, IT experience, IP, HP's IP, and together we help you build the right architecture. We understand it's not going to be one vendor across, it's not going to be one technical solution across, it's going to be multiple solutions. So what I would say is that the network's been lagging. Technology has now reached a point where you can have software-defined capabilities. So programmability delivers agility, delivers that flexibility we talk about. And then we also have the concept that the network can now be virtualized, like the server or the storage. And that equilibrium really delivers that trinity, as we call it, that IT trinity delivers new services when you need to spin it up. Let me give you an example. You are a store, for example, right? You are like your toy store. right? So this is Christmas. You want to have the network capability to deal with this Christmas rush, yet during the rest of the year, you don't need that capacity. So you need to be able to flex up when the business needs you to flex up, and then flex down when the networks, when your business asks you to do this. That flexibility with software defined, I know you mentioned IPv6, that's the underpinning. And then we have something called also right now called network function virtualization. And all of these technology are like Lego pieces. Once you put them together, you now have the capability that you were not able to do this. And if you have a journey and you don't know how to start, then we have also services that help you start that journey all the way down to the implementation phase if you choose to get there.
So on the web, where would people go?
So we have 2 locations. So you either do hp.com/SDN and you'll get all the information around our SDN capabilities. One thing I didn't talk about, if you don't mind, I'll go back to it in a second, is we have an SDN app ecosystem, which I'll reference. And then on the services side, you can do hp.com/services, and then you can do either IPv6, networks, SDN, everything is in there.
So I understand we're going to be talking in an HP Tech Talk coming
up
here shortly.
We're
certainly looking forward to that.
Right.
Thank
you, Andy.
Thanks very much for joining us.
You're
thanks
welcome.
to you folks for joining us as well on our continuing coverage, obviously live, at HP Discover in Barcelona.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Andy.